Door-to-door sales, 101 part 2. I was talking about uh, the way you dress, the colors that I like, that I know that work, is, the pastel colors, the yellow, the tan, the khakis. You don't want to wear a red shirt. Red subconsciously means stop or no. So, I learned that a long time ago. Um, but anyways, like I said before, a clean appearance. Um, depending depending of where you're at, what house you're at. The first thing that I do right before I knock on that door is I see if there's anything that I could use to break the ice. And breaking the ice is a term that I use where I can make an instant connection of an affirmation from the prospect. In other words, something that I could use that would connect me with the prospect. Make him feel comfortable. If I see a truck, a truck, and it says something construction on it, I would say, hey, listen, sir, the only reason I stopped at your door is my dad is a retired construction worker or a contractor. If the guy has a cab parked outside, I said, listen, sir, the only reason I stopped at your door is my dad is a retired cab driver. If I stop at a house that has a big rig, parked across the street, hey, sir, the only reason I stopped here is because uncle retired as a truck driver. You break the ice. If there's nothing out there that you can really relate to, because sometimes if I see an avalanche or a nice truck, I say, listen, sir, the only reason I stopped here is I drive the same truck you do. That's a nice truck. And you sort of, what year is it? And you break the ice. But the number one way, the way I break the ice, and this is not in no way means to disrespect any religious organizations, is that the reason there's signs in neighborhoods that say no soliciting, and there's signs at doors in individual homes that say no soliciting, it's not because they bought something. It's because they have been approached by a religious organization. I'm talking Jehovah's Witnesses. I'm talking Mormons. So a lots of times when I knock on the door and they open the door, the first thing I do is I shake my hand in front of them, waving. I'm like, hey, listen, sir, I'm not a Jehovah's Witness, so don't freak out. And 9 times out of 10, I'll get a smile out of them or a laughter, and that's breaking the ice. The first five seconds of any introduction, I know if there's a buyer or not a buyer. I know if I'm gonna be able to show my product or not show my product. You can say, hey, listen, sir, I'm not a Mormon. Hey, sir, listen, I'm not selling Comcast. I'm not selling cables. So that way you break the ice. As soon as I break the ice, as soon as I get a smile from the prospect, the second thing I do is I put my hand out and I say my full name, first and last name. My name is Rover Brown. And the third thing I say is I say the company name. But the key to selling for me is not to come across as a salesman. Nobody likes a salesman. No one likes a salesman. I'll repeat that 3 times. No one likes a salesman. Okay? It's just the way it is. Maybe the car salesman made it bad for us. Okay? But people just don't like salesmen. So the first thing I tell people is this: hey, listen, sir, my name is, Rover Brown. I work 1 day a month for my uncle's company, X, Y, and Z. And, and that right there puts him at ease. And by the way, sir, I'm union. I get paid $22 an hour, so there's no pressure here. And even though I don't get paid $22 an hour, you know, it just instills the trust. This is what I do. There's a lot of people in the country that probably do the same thing because I probably trained a lot of people. Also, if you're starting in sales, go by your appearance. You know, go by what you used to do. You know, nobody likes a door-to-door salesman. You know, I do it because the money's in there. You know, I make a couple $100,000 a year. That's not bad. I work seasonal. You know, I have people that work for me. It took me a while to get what I got today, but what I'm trying to say is, it doesn't matter how old you are. I have a 72-year-old man working for me, and he's a retired GM worker. And he tells him right at the door, hey, you know, I apologize. I'm a retired GM worker. The reason I'm here is I work. My grandson owns a business, and he's sick in the hospital, and I'm taking over his route. And I messed up his orders, and I gotta let these go. If not, he's gonna lose a bunch of money. He's gonna get mad at me, and he can't pay his rent. I'm talking, you know, you gotta say what you gotta say. But most importantly, you know, to get into the door, that's all you need to do. 70% of any sale on a door-to-door sales is in the pitch, in the hook. 70% of the sale is done in the hook, in the door. You qualify the customer. They know who you are, they know what you do, and they know that you're selling. Okay? And once they want to see the product, that's it. And 30% of the close, you know, of the sale is in the close, and the close is going to be easy. And I'll go over that a little bit more about how to you know, build value in what you're selling. So basically, to get in the door, you gotta create your own. You could say acting. You're an actor. You know, you're an actor. I like to sell one person that's either city, county, state, federal. Maybe he could be law enforcement. And once I sell that person, I'll give that person a really good price. I might not make $1 off that sale. But if I tell his neighbor, hey, listen, sir, I just sold, you know, Mr. Johnny, you know, he's a federal employee, you know, and you could call him if you want to. With that sale, I'm going to create 4 or 5 more sales, you know. It's little tricks to the trade, you know, little tricks to the trade. One of the most important aspects of selling is knowing who the buyer is. I could tell you by looking at a house where the car is parked who's home and who's not home. Some states the woman's the boss. Some states, to me, the man's the boss. Down southern states, to me, the woman is more of a boss than in the northern states. And that's just, man, it's weird. It's just the way it is, you know. What I do is, when I'm at the door, now remember, I sell food products. So if I get a woman at the door and she says, well, my husband's not here, I can't make a buying decision without him, I always tell them, well, listen, do you go to the grocery store without your husband? You know, you overcome objections that way, you know. Let me ask you a question. Do you spend $150 without your husband? Do you call him when you're in the grocery store to find out if it's okay? Well, I sold 9 of your neighbors. I mean, we can't be that bad, you know. And I show them. And one of the things that you gotta have, and I'm telling you how from experience, is I have every permit and licensing that I could get. Anything in writing that I could get that would help me sell at the door, I will. People like, especially now after the post 9/11, everybody likes to see, you know, certificates, you know, permits from the police department. You know, the more legit you are, the more chances you are to increase your sales. I have a 80% close ratio in a property. Once I'm inside the house, 8 out of 10